rating Decathlon products. So this is quite an interesting video and I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. I feel like this could really be in addition to the I wish I knew these before I go into cycling. Over the last few years, Decathlon has definitely become quite a big brand in cycling. The most significant thing that has happened is that they have sponsored a Tour de France team. To a fellow cyclist, I feel like that is super exciting. But what is the most exciting part is that they are willing to be taken very seriously in this sport despite being a very budget brand. So over the years, I've used the following products for myself and I think I'm going to rate them. Kind of give you a little bit of like a personal opinion and a little bit of review for these. So let's start. The RC520 road bike. This bicycle is an entry-level road bike with disc brake and 9-speed Sora group set. I've gotten it in an S frame back then, however I feel like I could do better with an XS frame. Overall, I think that the bars for me are still a little bit wide even if they are on the S frame. I must say, of course, the biggest draw is that the price point is really low. For beginner cyclists, I can never think of a bike that is better to recommend than this one. I find that, of course, the one downside to this bicycle would be the cable disc brake. So maybe consider a little bit more budget for you guys to change that into something like a June Tech, which is a cable pulled caliper with hydraulic reservoir. If you have a little bit more to spend, the TRP High Road does the same thing, and I would stay away from the TRP Spires. The aluminum bike is also light enough for beginners to handle, but yet not so heavy that it's kind of jarring on hill climbs. Personally, I also did not have any issues with the saddle that was given. However, I kept using my Brook saddle that I've been using for some time, and so I've switched it out for that. Next, the XC Rock Raider clipless pedal. I know, it's a road bike, but I've used mountain bike clips. Back then, my priorities were kind of walking off the bike as compared to kind of more efficient riding. So these pedals are also compatible with Shimano SPDs, which is amazing, great, you can find them anywhere. I personally think that for a beginner who is trying to learn how to use clipless pedals, mountain bike pedals are the best. Mountain bike shoes, as well as the recent rise of gravel riding shoes, obviously provide a better platform for you to walk off the bike. So these clipless pedals, you can also adjust the float, which once again, it's amazing for beginners who want to try to kind of play around with them before jumping into some more expensive options. Overall, I've used them for a very long time before discovering Crank Brothers clipless pedals and then changing out to them. I've also used these pedals with the Rock Raider mountain bike shoes. Now these shoes, I'm not too happy with. There is a little bit too much flex in the sole, and if you look at the clip position, there's almost no adjustment. This would create a lot of problem if the clip position is an issue for some riders, and I would not recommend using this pair of shoes. So I think this shoe is also out of production since it's not on the Decathlon Singapore website. So Decathlon has actually some other shoes that are meant for gravel riding and mountain biking now. What you want to look for is these two grooves that allow the clip to slide up and down, and that will allow you to adjust where the clip would sit under your feet. I can't stress how important this is because it actually changes how you activate your muscles as you ride. So I must say that I wouldn't be enjoying riding clippers if not for starting out on those XC pedals. And by using those shoes, I've learned that there are some adjustments that are limited by my shoes, and I make sure to look for those with adjustments. The next one I want to talk about is the Riverside Bottle Cage Foot Pouch. I must admit, I personally don't own a piece of this, however, I have used them on some of my rides. The single hand action pull to open and close the feedback is so important. On big mouse days, you don't want to get off the bike. It is really important for you to be able to single-handedly open the pouch so that you can reach for things inside. On top of that, the material used doesn't actually feel cheap. I'm a big fan of Blue Luck, which is a bicycle store around Japan. And I'll be very honest, I paid about $70 for this feedback and it still requires me to use both hands to open and close. So I would say, for those of you who are looking for some additional storage apart from having a small saddle bag under your saddle, you can consider this seat bag. This is the reason I went to Decathlon for, the Explore 100 mountain bike helmet. For those of you who do not understand, helmet fitting is also kind of an important aspect. Previously, I've actually used a 100% helmet, which actually was so heavy on my head. So even if my head circumference, about 56 centimeters, fit within the range that is provided on the helmet, it doesn't actually fit very well. Hence, I've given up using that helmet and kind of went back to using a Decathlon helmet. Decathlon helmet provides kind of a very nice fit for my head at least. So while I can say that the comfort level and the weight of the helmet works for me, it might not be working for you. If it is possible to go down to a physical shop and try things like shoes and helmet, you should totally do it. So that basically covers everything that I've used from Decathlon on my cycling journey. But what about things that I'm looking forward to try? RC500 bibless shorts. So from the image, apparently these are actually also cargo shorts. So cycling bibs is definitely another one of these things where you should actually try it in store before you buy it. So this one definitely looks like it comes with pocket big enough to hold a phone. However, I think I'll be using it to hold this camera as I go out riding. I've been riding with this camera in the back pocket of my jersey and it's not the most easy to reach. Having some cargo bibs would mean that it will be easier for me to reach this camera and there will be a little bit faster reaction time for me to film something. I've also recognized that this is kind of a first world problem, so it's not that necessary for me to kind of go out and get it. Tribun Gravel 900 titanium frame. So once again, a titanium bike is really the best of both worlds. It is nearly as good as being a forever bike already. And in this case, this is actually fitted for a gravel setup. I know that this is not available in Singapore, but I'll be so interested to actually even try and get it for a test ride. So overall, my opinion on Decathlon products has always been the same. If you are trying to start something and Decathlon has some kind of a solution for you, you can try that too before diving into more expensive options. And it is not too expensive to try it out and then later if you don't like it, I think that's fine. Of course, being at this very budget price point also means that if you are trying to sell these products later, it does lose its value. It's almost not worth anything. So that might be something for you to consider. So overall, what are your thoughts on Decathlon products? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you like content like this, do subscribe to my channel and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.